I'm Jose Sanchez Gavito. I'm the technical director for H&A Group in Mexico and Latin America. H&A Group, we sell barrels, so I have a lot of information for the market in the aging capacity. Plus, I'm a winemaker, and I'm a flying winemaker and master blender consultant. So all my expertise comes from the liquid and how this liquid can be sold. A little bit different point of view from Quentin, especially because I'm focusing on the market in the US. And I state that agave has become kind of a red ocean because there's intense competition. What defines a red market? A red market is defined by a saturated market with fierce competition, okay? In the US, we have around 30 million cases being sold at the moment. These 30 million cases are produced by 200 distilleries. So each distillery is making at least 10 labels. How can you differentiate your product in that type of scenario? All major players have over 1 million cases being sold in the US, and the market has been growing for 16 consecutive years. This year was the slowest, and it seems that it's starting to stop this growth, which means it's probably getting to maturity. Again, in the US, not necessarily outside. What challenges do we face? First, CRT bureaucracy. You cannot do anything outside of what the CRT defines that is correct. And that's a big problem because the CRT is facing directly the consumer. The consumer is changing. The consumer wants transparency. The consumer wants no intervention. And then CRT is definitely working towards hiding what's happening in the tequila factory. There are rising expectations of health, convenience, stories that matter. I don't want to get into politics, but politics, it's also a big frontier that the tequila industry is working. So going back to the consumer is changing. They seek more than just alcohol content. They seek wellness, balance, authenticity, emotional connection, and they have a deep desire of values, of a story. My professor, when I was studying at Davis, said, a beautiful story is all you need. I still believe that you need a beautiful story, but right now you need a lot of other things. Basing my whole talk on ways to compete and creating a blue ocean. A blue ocean is set up by a framework. The framework is what's your value proposition, and your value for propositions has to have focus, has to be divergence, and has to have a tagline. And with these three things in mind and this framework, what I'm seeing with a lot of potential to create a blue ocean, it's no or low alcohol, state-grown agave, a different origin completely, and aging with purpose, okay? So going step by step, if I think about no alcohol or low alcohol, what is my consumer looking for? And what's my value proposition? I need to deliver authenticity, flavor, and an emotional ritual. This ritual is not exactly the shot to get you wasted. It's a shot to have friends, and it's more the convenience, the spending time with the people you like. The focus is on wellness and culture, mindful consumption, and keeping in mind that you have an artisanal product, that it has a lot of heritage. The divergence is moving away from strength. The kick is not the only thing that you need with agave. With agave, you need the flavor, you need the concentration, you need what's behind it. And with this, redefining lightness becomes a luxury. And the tagline that I like is, same soul, just a lighter spirit, okay? And if you see, I'm doing exactly the same framework. What I want to state is, there are many options where you can compete in this crowded market. You just have to assess which way you want to go. So with the state-grown agave, the greatest spirits are not made. They are cultivated in one field, one harvest, one hand at a time. This gives you a vertical integration. So you stop having the problem of, is there of supply and demand of agave? Agave, I have seen a crisis in agave in my lifetime for 3 times. In 95, the agave went from being worth 1 peso to being worth 20 pesos. Right now, the agave went from being 35 pesos per kilogram to being 3 pesos per kilogram. It doesn't make sense. The reason is, it's very difficult to forecast what's going to be the consumption 5 years from now. And that's what you usually see with agave, tequila, and Weber. But if you're working with jabalí, it's probably 20 to 25 years to grow that agave. So it's impossible to try to predict how much agave you're going to need. So growing your own agave, just as we see with Códice or Códice Mezcal, that they have 8 years of agave consumption without any problem. Or Tequila Ocho, that state in their label that it's state-grown agave, just like you do in the wine industry. In the wine industry, state-grown agave can probably be sold for 30% more, 40% more, okay? So this gives you vertical integration, traceability, divergence is moving away from mass brand towards identity. It's very important to have this identity, and the tagline that I really, really like is, authenticity is grown, not assembled. It's very, very, very easy to change the flavor of a tequila with a few drops of any of the products that they are using at the moment. But that changes the superficial flavor. It doesn't change the structure of the tequila. It doesn't change the actual flavor of your tequila. Then I'm moving towards origin. Where is the agave grown? Here we can see 4 examples of agave spirits that are not coming from Mexico. Okay? Yolo and Jano spirits coming from the US. The US being a big, big, big proposer of this trend, this move, especially because just in California, they're expected to take away 5,000 hectares of grapevine. And the crop that the universities are suggesting, it's agave. Because agave restores what others exhaust. It's a spirit born of resilience and renewal. So by growing agave, you are not consuming water, and you are restoring erosion in the field where it's being grown. Pistola, a product made in India. Sanjo, a product made in South Africa. So there are already these products being grown elsewhere and being sold all over the world. The divergence is reframing the agave plant not just as a crop, but something that can restore the soil, and also moving away from the monopoly of agave production. Okay? Tagline, growing hope, one agave at a time. Finally, and the one that excites me the most, because this is what I'm actually doing at the moment, it's a lot of investigation on how you can age spirits in a different way, especially agave spirits. At H&A, we have 4 different styles of aging. You can use ex-wine casks, you can use ex-fortified casks, you can use ex-spirit cask, or you can use regenerated casks. All of these will give you a different flavor profile that will enhance the flavor of your agave spirit. Also, you are thinking about sustainability by using the cask more than once. You can basically use the cask 3-4 times before you do the reuse of your agave spirit. And here, what we're looking for is an evolution of agave aging. Wood becomes a voice, not just a vessel. One of the main problems I see in aged agave spirits is that we are focusing on 2 months for claiming it's reposado. What can happen in a liquid in 2 months? Very, very little, very, very superficial. What can happen with more aging or more purposeful aging? Not only your typical ex-bourbon, which takes around 98% of the aging at the moment. So thinking about aging with a purpose, you can start enhancing the flavors. And the tagline here is mature by design, not by habit. Okay? Then the road to implementation. First, you have to assess what are you looking for, what's the strategic path that is going to become your blue ocean, and then bet on it. Do a test, be very close to the feedback loops, so to the mixologists, the trade partners, the people on the road, because they will let you know if your strategy is working. And then when you execute, just make sure that you can scale. A lot of brands are very good in the test phase, but when you move to execute, you don't find the barrels to recreate the liquid that you're trying to make. You can always find the barrels with H&A. So finally, a red ocean rewards scale, blue ocean rewards vision. Innovation will belong to those who turn heritage into horizon. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to keep up with the latest beverage alcohol industry insights from Park Street University.